Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be going over the Q&A that was on March 15th with Ian and Devo Lore, and this Q&A was about Battle for Azeroth Alpha mostly, or just the expansion going forward. Basically, it was an hour 20 minutes long, and I just tried to shorten that and give a summation of everything while still getting out the pertinent information that I find most useful. I take notes on this, so if it appears I'm reading off of something, it's because I am. And let's get ahead and get started. They started off by saying they about talking about classic WoW, which is something that intrigues me and many people a lot. They wanted to make a point to say that this is just starting up. They have hired people for this job specifically, but it is literally just in the starting phases still, so it's not going to be anytime soon. The classic WoW is out. Um, First question was, will there be playable Zandalari paladins? This is because I guess in the beginning of the alpha, you see some NPCs of Zandalari Paladins. He said that it's possible. He didn't want to give too much of a spoiler, but he said something about something's going to happen that disrupts their powers with the light. But still, then said maybe by the end of the X pack they would be able to. So basically, who knows? But the spoiler kind of sounds like it's not going to happen, at least not at the beginning. There's a question about the Zandalari height. Why aren't they taller, like Tauren height? In most recent build, they are taller than what they were because if you stretched out a Darkspear troll, they were much taller than a Zandalar troll because they're hunched over, but the Zandalar troll should be the same height. The next question was, will allied races always come in pairs, or will one faction ever have more races than the other? For now, it'll definitely always be pairs, I said. In future, it's possible, but the way he described it would be like maybe one patch while certain content's going on, this faction joins, and by the end of the expansion, another faction joins the other side, and it's always going to even itself out eventually. One guy wanted confirmation of all the allied races in Battle for Azeroth. He kind of said all the allied races, like ever, basically, but he just confirmed the ones that we already know about from the data mining and everything. Dark Iron Dwarves, Mag'har Orcs, which are just uncorrupted orcs, not the actual tribe. Uncorrupted, meaning like the brown orcs. Koltiran and Zandalari. As they add more allied races, you're going to have more character slots, so don't delete characters to make room. Is one big thing that they added there. That was in the question as well about deleting characters. Should allied races have more customization? Yes, if they are short on any, they want custom options to be equal among all the races, whether they're allied or not. Any customization to non-allied races, so the traditional old ones, it's not what they're working on right now. They'll continue to upgrade things as the game goes on. Basically, he kind of hinted maybe what they could do is throw it into a mini patch that comes out, like a 0.5 or whatever patch that comes out. Maybe throw in one cosmetic per faction that you could get and slowly roll them out, because that's not something that they're currently working on. They only have so many workers that are trying to design Battle for Azeroth right now. Any chance old races will get heritage armor? It's not a plan yet, but it kind of sounded like it was the first time he ever thought about it. He said it was a good idea, so I'm guessing it's probably going to actually eventually happen. What's the best way to communicate things to the dev team? This is something I've thought about a lot. What they described was data is the best way to grab the attention and really get some communication from the dev team. So if it's a cosmetic problem, take a screenshot to show them with it. So I know before I've reported, hey, this look at this, it's stupid, it doesn't work right. And I've tried to just describe, like there was a building in Stormwind where if you flew into the top of it, it dismounted you and dropped you into the building. And I tried to describe it, but in hindsight, I should have sent a screenshot and shown exactly where it was at. If it's more of a DPS type thing or HPS type thing, logs are helpful. Basically, add a little bit more than just a well-worded essay. Classes, will classes be unpruned in Battle for Azeroth, giving more utility? Was there too much pruning in Legion? Some abilities are obviously coming back. Some old school buffs are coming back. Arcane Intellect, for example. Each class should have usefulness. Not every class should have every tool. Right now, it kind of feels like there's 12 different flavors of vanilla, and instead there should be all different flavors. Since Miss, there's less abilities each X pack. Why is this? The person asking the question does not like these less abilities instead of adding abilities. Basically, adding multiple abilities every X pack was not sustainable. This is definitely true if you played since vanilla. you would know that right now, if we added 3 new abilities that were useful every expansion, we would probably have 30 to 40 moves in our rotations, and it just would be stupid and not fun to play at all. So that's why that isn't the case. I agree with that. Balancing class spec based on the raids or based on Mythic Plus dungeons? This is a good question because Mythic Plus dungeons are getting so much popularity. You don't need a full guild group to do them. They want it to be somewhere in the middle. But he brought up different classes with different strengths, so everyone is good at something, kind of going back to the different flavors of vanilla to each class being kind of different. So basically, yes, they want there to be people that are really good at AoE, but they want them to be competitive at single target, but they think it's good that they're really good at AoE. So maybe they would be better in a Mythic Plus or on a raid boss that has AoE in it, and maybe they're not as good at the other bosses. They basically just want that person to be able to compete. If you're at the bottom of it, that's fine as long as you're at the top of other things or near the top of other things. Primary stat value versus secondary stat value. In this expansion, secondary stats were like way more important. Yes, they want it to matter more because an eye level will matter more. Eye level really doesn't matter too much, especially on some items, because you just want your haste mastery, for example. So they want that to matter a lot more because they want it to be an easier decision. If you have something that's 20 eye levels higher, they want it to be better pretty much universally. So that way, people who aren't as serious, you don't have to go sim your gear to find out if it's an upgrade for you or not. Talent choice for baseline artifact abilities feels bad. They wanted to kind of talk about that. Basically, what that means is, for example, Wake of Ashes, Ret Paladin ability, that's a talent choice as of right now in Battle for Azeroth. It's obviously taken away because we don't have our artifacts anymore. It's not an exciting thing, he agrees, and it does feel bad. It's a short-term sacrifice they're making, and DPS will be fixed in other ways. So let's say you lose your artifact ability, or whatever, or you choose a talent that's not that. It's not in your rotation anymore. What do you do? What do you do? Well, basically, your other stuff's going to hit harder or do different things and make up for it. Like, you're not going to become weaker because you don't have it. It's just takes some getting used to because you're losing something that you've had for a while now. Recently, in Alpha, some Legion Legos abilities were given as talent options, which is cool. What will happen if you have the talent and the Lego on? As of right now, these are going to double stack or have more chance to proc, whatever the case may be. Something that's interesting to me is I know the Warriors have a shoulder piece that lets you do 3 heroic leaps. So if that was a talent choice, then you could do 6 heroic leaps. I doubt that's a talent choice, but that would be pretty overpowered, but kind of cool at the same time because you would only be wearing these while you're leveling. You wouldn't be wearing them, at endgame or anything like that. What will our artifact weapon be replaced with? We have no weapons. If they took away our artifact weapon, we don't have a weapon. So as 8.0 hits, its pre-expect phase begins. So as long as you have pre-ordered the expansion, especially, I believe, you'll take part in this. And even if you don't, I think you'll still somewhat take part in this. You'll still wield your weapon. You're just going to lose the traits on the weapon. So it just becomes a regular weapon at the eye level that it is. You still have your relics as well. So the relics are still relevant. You just lose the traits. I don't know if you lose the abilities at the Forge on the Vindicar or not. They didn't specify that. I couldn't see that happening. I think the relics are still just going to modify the item level, though, on your weapon. Some classes have talent rows that are pure AoE or pure single target. Why is that? Because people are just speccing single target or multi-target based on the situation. Choosing between similar talents always is the way they want to go, and a way that they first did when they implemented this talent system. So basically, I know for a fact, there's 2 tiers for me at least where you might change something, whether it's a single target or multi-target fight. What they want you to do is to choose the AoE option, have all the AoE options be comparable, choose the one that you like the best, have all the single target options be similar, and choose the one that you like the best. And you're always going to have those talents. So it's not a useful talent for a certain fight, for sure. You might not even use it, but in that case, maybe you should take a passive talent that you don't have to press a button for. If it's a single target fight, that's still a choice you can make there. I like the idea of it personally. I don't like having to, okay, I'm just going to change my spec to single target. Okay, I'm going to change my spec to multi-target. You should spec on the way you like to do play style. Someone asked about addressing CC and PvP. This person suggests you could be locked down for like 40 seconds. That seems a little bit long, but I know you can be locked down for quite a while. Basically, they're very pro CC, which you need to be because it's for the end game people mostly anyways, or the high end game, meaning the high end arena people, or ADBG. If CC is too limited, it turns into DPS race for PvP. It just makes sense. Your teammates should be helping you not be locked down, is the idea that they have. If there are no counters to a CC thing, that is an issue they do want to change. They want to have a way to counter things. So like if the CC that they're doing to you is like all instant cast or just instant ability, instant melee, whatever, and they can chain those things together, that's something they want you to have a counter for. So if your class or spec doesn't have a counter for that, then maybe they'll give you a counter for that. As far as too many instant cast things, too many just instant things that people can do to you that you can't stop them from doing to you. As for some details on Prestige, basically because they don't like the system the way it is, basically because it's going to need to be added to, and they're not going to add to it instead. They're going to just change the way it is. So basically the Prestige system is going to stay the way it is. The max level is still going to be the max level. You get to keep all the stuff that you've been rewarded from it. However, instead of more Prestige levels, doing PvP will still be able to reward you with things like titles, mounts, and Xmogs, as it does now through the Prestige system. There'll just be different ways to obtain them. Will personal loot eventually be the only option? This was an interesting question I didn't think about much. That is likely to happen eventually. Probably not this expansion, I would guess, but probably likely to happen. The set pieces are main reason people do master loot, including my guild. That is why we do master loot in our mythic runs. So with elimination of set pieces, personal loot will just reward more loot in general, so that'll be the best option. And of course, you can trade the loot to others, someone who needs it more than you, for example. But I kind of like that. I never thought of it that way before. I always liked Master Looter. However, without needing the set pieces to funnel, it does kind of make sense to do personal loot. One thing I can see being an issue is healer or tank trinkets, perhaps. Not getting those, especially tank trinkets, only having 2 tanks. You might have to have some people go to like change their spec to prot or something like that. I could see that being an issue if that was the only option. So we'll see how that goes. What is the mission system about for Azeroth? This is something I've done videos about because mission system is something I actually like in the game. It's not in Warlords, but I liked it in Legion. It's very similar to Legion. It's a slight step back from Legion, as Legion took a step back from Warlords, but it's very similar to Legion. The difference being no more time gating, or at least significant time gating from the mission board. Example was the initial 5 12-hour missions you had to do to progress your storyline. They're very happy where the system ended up at the end of Legion, although those time gating at the beginning was a little bit much, they admitted. Asked about Mythic Pluses in Battle for Azeroth. Something interesting, Tyrannical and Fortified are probably going to be moved to a level 2 keystone, so the very first plus, you'll have Tyrannical or Fortified, and that'll set the tone for the strength of the dungeon from that forward. So let's say it's Tyrannical that week, then the bosses are stronger, and then at +3, they're just a little bit stronger, +4, they're a little bit stronger, +5, they're a little bit stronger, etc., etc. Still with the other fixes, of course. This is because 9 to 10 was a huge difference, especially at the beginning of the X pack. You noticed this before you had overgearing. Going from a 9 to a 10 was quite a big leap in difficulty because of the Tyrannical or Fortified being added to something that was already getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Then 9 to 10, it got stronger, plus the Fortified, plus the Tyrannical. It was quite a difference. So that's what now things are going to be more free throw. Why can't I talk? Free flowing. Things will be more free flowing going forward. Every level is going to basically be the same difficulty going up, except for, of course, the new fixes added in that are basically the same as the old ones. They are experimenting with new fixes that would be at level 10. These ones they want to kind of be good or bad. So they already experimented once. They did a video about one called Blighted. They don't like that one, so it doesn't look like it's going to make it, but that's kind of what they want to go with as far as it can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you handle it. Crafted gear on par with raid gear. There used to be materials that dropped in raids to make crafted gear equal. They want it to be relevant. He went on and on about it and didn't say much interesting about it. We'll see. I doubt it. I want crafted gear to be relevant. I miss my Storm Herald. Any new things coming for guilds is the last question that I thought was notable. So something cool in Battle for Azeroth are communities. So basically they updated the chat function, the in-game chat for World of Warcraft. So while you can still join Discord groups and everything like that, you can join communities now in-game. So instead of joining a guild, An example they used was a Saturday night pug group. So there's a group that does you join a pug group, Saturday night pug group. They create a community for it. Let's say they have 10 people from their guild and they need 10 other people to come. You join this community with them. They message you, hey, can you come this Saturday? And it's a way. Yes, you can add people to Battle.net friends. Yes, you can do that. But this is a nice way to kind of communicate with people. So even on that Saturday night, you see they're on Thursday night. Oh, they're on Thursday night. Maybe they want to do a battleground with you. It's a way to stay friendly with people without having to send that very direct message to one person. You're kind of talking to everybody at once. So it's the dynamic of a guild without having the commitment of a guild. However, guilds are getting all these cool functions and upgrades as well. So guilds will have all the chat upgrades as well, basically. So that's kind of cool. I really am looking forward to that. It's not something I heard much about, and probably something I'll do a video about specifically. But that's about all. I know these are always long, but it's a lot shorter than watching the actual Q&A if you didn't watch it live, which most people don't get a chance to watch it live. I know even I usually don't get a chance to watch it live either. So it's a lot shorter than that. So hopefully some good information for you, and everybody have a good one.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Thumbs up and sub as always. Also comment below, share the videos. Appreciate it so much. You can also check me out at Twitter at WoW Gaming Inc. and at Twitch with the tag name Kneecap Killa. So everyone have a good one and see you again soon.